Hello, I am Tracker TD, and welcome to an all-new episode of Tracker Talks. This episode is brought to you in part by Source Gaming. Source Gaming are a fantastic news site dedicated primarily towards Super Smash Bros., but covering a wide range of bases and translating trivia and Japanese articles and the like. They're one of my favourite video game sites by far, and incredibly dedicated to accuracy and they're amazing. Point is, this week on Source Gaming is Sonic Week, and so I've very kindly been asked to do a retrospective on my experiences with Sonic. You'll also see me in the Source Gaming podcast that's going out later this week, but I'm doing Tracker Talks, and so today we're going to cover Sonic the Hedgehog and my experience with Sonic over the years. So, let's begin. So, my first primary experience with Sonic was with the Sonic Adventure games and two specific PC titles, Sonic R and Sonic 3D Blast. Flicky's Island, I guess. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle was unsurprisingly my first Sonic game, which I know is a very common thing. A lot of people started off with that one because GameCube. But, yeah. Sonic was Adventure 2. It blew my mind. I'd started gaming with a lot of the tie-in titles and also Luigi's Mansion when I got my GameCube. But the moment I started Sonic Adventure 2, it had the kick-in music, it had the insanely fast gameplay. It was incredible. And then you get to the end of City Escape and you have the truck chase and everything. Sonic Adventure 2 blew my goddamn mind. I wasn't good at it, I was absolutely terrible at it. But it didn't matter because it felt so fun to play and everything it was so dazzling. So that was definitely the strong start to me playing Sonic. And nowadays I look back on Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Adventure 2 was terrible, but it's definitely like, there's probably a reason that was the game I got signed by Yuji Naka at Summer of Sonic 2011. So, you know, it's got a place in my heart, even if it's pretty low at this point. It's like, it was my first Sonic game, it was what got me into the series. After that, it was a case of Sonic Adventure DX on the GameCube, which, at the first I thought, oh, this must be the sequel to Sonic Adventure 2, because I didn't know what chronology was. So, when I saw Metal Sonic, his cameo in Sonic Adventure, I was like, oh my god, what the hell, but then, where's he come from, how is it? So, that was fun. But, eventually I played through Sonic Adventure, and I think, I got closer to beating Sonic Adventure than I did Sonic Adventure 2. So, that was fun. Because I was terrible at games back then, I never beat games. It took, it wasn't until I was, 10 years later that, I beat Sonic Adventure 2. So, but Sonic Adventure was definitely, I still love Sonic Adventure, and like Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Adventure is still one of my favourite games of all time. It's my favourite 3D Sonic of all time. So, that was, I got a pretty good start into Sonic with, the adventure titles, I guess. And then there was the PC games. Sonic Adventure Sonic 3D Flicky's Island was, yeah, an experience. Not one I was amazingly fond of, but the other game was Sonic R, and I loved Sonic R because it was the level design. It was so expansive. It was like a sandbox for my brain back then, so it was like, I just spent ages not racing, but just running around the levels. So eventually that was one of the key Sonic experiences that stuck into my head. And, I mean, at that point then, it was kind of obvious that then I was very much getting it. That was my new favourite thing, Sonic. So, yeah, they was like, they could have given me anything. Like, even Sonic 3D, I know I just knocked it, but I was still playing Sonic 3D just fine. So, then I began getting more Sonic stuff. I began buying the handheld titles. I bought Sonic Heroes, which, you know, I played a lot and then gave up on, halfway through, but Sonic Heroes is the worst Sonic game of all time, besides Sonic Unleashed, but, yeah. It's like, back then I just didn't know any better, so I was just playing all these Sonic games. You could have given me, a pile of shit, but put Sonic's face on it, and I didn't care. It was Sonic, I had to play it. So then I began collecting. I got merchandise. I remember one Christmas where I got Sonic plush toys, and that was the best Christmas ever, because I was like, what, they make Sonic plush toys? My mind is blown. So, yeah, it was. But then I was getting the handheld titles as well, stuff like Sonic Advance. Sonic Advance was awesome. It was just, I need to go back and play that again, actually. I've not played it in years. But Sonic Advance is just, it was an incredible series. And then I was getting more into the 2D titles as well. My dad fetched his Sega Master System out the loft. And I was like, oh wow, this is cool, the old Sonics. And even before that, like, Sonic Adventure DX had a few Game Gear titles in it. So I was like, oh, these are old ones then. So, I mean, I was getting more aware of just how big a franchise Sonic already was. And I mean, let's be fair, I did kind of hit the franchise at a bad time, because after because Heroes is a terrible game, but then you got Shadow the Hedgehog, which was what was next after the handhelds and then after Daytona 06, but Shadow the Hedgehog was an interesting one, because I specifically remember when that was revealed. Back then, this was before I had decent access to the internet, so imagine a world where you get your information from video game magazines. What a dystopia. But, yeah, I picked up Games Master, and on the cover, Sonic Goes GTA. So you had, Shadow with his gun, and my mind was blown. This was the coolest thing ever to my idiot mind back then. So, yeah, Shadow the Hedgehog I was very hyped for, and then I got it on release for the PS2, God help me. I mean, that reminds me, I did play Sega Superstars as well. So then I was becoming more aware of the rest of Sega. I didn't really care about it, I only ever played the Sonic game and Puyo, but, yeah, the Sonic game on Sega Superstars was interesting. But Shadow the Hedgehog was, he was a terrible game, but back then I was like, oh my god, Shadow's got a gun, this is awesome. So I didn't really think any better of it, I didn't think any worse of it, I just played through it a few times and, yeah, moved on. And then after that was, then Sonic 06 and Sonic Rush happened. But Sonic 06 especially. Now, I can't, God, I must have been like, what? Fucking, I must have been, 8 when Sonic 06 came out. So, I didn't know any better. Sonic 06 was hyped up and everyone was like, okay, no, Sonic 06 is pretty goddamn bad. But I was just like, nah, Sonic 06 is awesome. Sonic 06 is great. I didn't know what these people were talking about. And it was like the same with the storybook games as well. Sonic Secret Rings came out. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And yeah. So basically, what you're learning here is that I ate anything as long as it had Sonic on it. And then, after that, Sonic had his, I can't even remember 2007 for Sonic, but Sonic Unleashed began happening. So Sonic Unleashed got hyped up throughout 2008, and this is when the community aspect of Sonic began to kind of become part of my life, because Summer of Sonic happened, the London Sonic Convention, and this was the first event of its kind to my knowledge, and it was mind-blowing to meet so many people who also liked Sonic, because I got teased a lot at school for liking Sonic, and that was not fun. Everyone was moving on to Resident Evil and the like, everyone wanted to be seen as cool, so they all bought the mature-rated games instead, and I was just kind of still playing 3+ Sonic. So, it was like, Sonic, it wasn't exactly fun. I mean, I'm not going to go into some terrible cry fest, because, I mean, it's not like school was terrible, it's just nobody liked Sonic. Nobody I have ever met in real life in this town has ever liked Sonic anywhere near as much as I do. And so, there's been a few fans on the side. But basically, it was very isolated growing up liking Sonic. And then going to Summer of Sonic absolutely blew my mind. Because I was like, holy crap, there are other people that like Sonic. And it meant a hell of a lot. And then I won the art competition at Summer of Sonic. It was like, oh my god, I like people, I could draw Sonic. And the picture that I won Summer of Sonic's art contest with was terrible, but it was oh man, it was such a special day, and it was just getting to play Sonic Chronicles first. Even when I was playing Sonic Chronicles, I think that was the first time I played a Sonic game and thought, okay, this is terrible. But at the same time, it was just the idea of playing it first and all that, and seeing all the signs of Sonic Unleashed about and everything. It was crazy. It was so Summer of Sonic was definitely a special experience. But you know. So moving on, then Sonic Colors. Well, no, wait, I'm completely skipping everything there. No, Sonic Unleashed happened. And I liked Sonic Unleashed. I wasn't a huge fan of the Warhogs. Ironically, the Warhogs actually grown on me, if anything. But, yeah, that happened. Sonic Unleashed is still one of my favourite Sonic games. Warhog be damned, I thought it was a pretty competent beat-em-up, so I was fine with that. Unless you're playing the Wii version, in which case the Wii version is literally the worst Sonic game ever created. But I digress. I forget to mention, I played a lot of the classic Sonic games on the Mega Collection, so I can't believe I forgot that. So I definitely got the Mega Collection like early on and played through all the classic games, so I can't forget that. That's when I realised, okay, there's way more to Sonic than I realised. And, you know, the classic games, like, I was always begging my dad to go find his Sega Mega Drive that he said that he had, and it was only like a year ago that we finally found the damn thing. But after I'd already bought 5 other Mega Drives. But yeah, so I played all the original Sonics with Sonic 3 and Knuckles and all that, and so I was at this point I knew, like, okay, the classics are probably the best. But I took up Unleashed anyway, and Unleashed was great. So yeah. Then we got, I think 2009 was Sonic and the Black Knight. I can't remember, but either way it was shit, so never mind. And then there was Sonic Colors. I got Sonic Colors for Christmas of that year. And I think that was the first time I sat down and played a Sonic game, like a main Sonic game, not Sonic Chronicles. That was probably the first time I sat down and played a Sonic game, and ironically the first time I was disappointed with it. Which is going to be a surprise. Like, I ate up Sonic 06, but Sonic Colors is the one where it kind of clicked the, no, actually this is a bit crap. Which I know a lot of people love Sonic Colors, but Sonic Colors felt very underwhelming after Unleashed. The way that Sonic Colors, I should do a review of Sonic Colors someday, but it didn't feel as good as Unleashed. It didn't feel as mind-boggling. The moveset was butchered, the level design was crap. It was not as fun a time, and I was done with it in friggin' hours. So it was like I beat it on Christmas Day. So yeah. That was, Sonic Colors was a bit of a mixed bag. But then Sonic Generations happened. I remember that reveal very distinctly. We was on the way back from, I think, a holiday to Yorkshire. And, it's become almost a running joke now that I always miss Sonic announcements because I'm always on holiday when they happen. So we was just on the way back from Yorkshire, and I finally got a 3G, like, a data connection in the car. And I was like, oh, what's this? They've announced a new Sonic game. And then I saw Classic Sonic was back in 3D, and my mind was blown. I was just like, we was in Little Chef having breakfast, and I was just bouncing all over the place because holy crap, Classic Sonic is back. Like, I didn't even grow up with Classic Sonic, and I was excited because I was just like, oh my god, 2 Sonics, and they're bringing back the classic gameplay and everything. So, yeah, and then, I mean, obviously it all got leaked because of data mining the demo, but Sonic Generations, the hype build-up was amazing, and the game came out, and it was stellar. It was so good. It was still really short, but I just didn't care, because compared to Colors, they got so much right. The level design was better, the moveset wasn't butchered, it was back to the Unleashed 3D style, so it was just amazing. So, yeah. Oh, and while I'm on the topic, there was also Sonic 4 in the midst of this, and then Sonic 4 in Episode 2 in 2012, and at the time I didn't really mind Sonic 4. I mean, nowadays I can kind of, that was when the green eyes thing popped up, and at that point I was like, nah, old Sonic fans are babies, and now it's like, I remember Skylar from Sonic Retro said, you'll agree with us one day. And I was like, nah, you're just wrong, and no, he was right. Sonic 4 was kind of crap. But, you know, it tied the gap over, and then in 2013, Sonic Lost World happened. And I was hyped for Sonic Lost World. I thought it was going to be pretty decent. Like, I thought, wow, this looks really good. And I loved it on Wii U, like, I played it on Wii U. But then last year, I went back to it, because they released it on PC, and no, Sonic Lost World is a pretty bad game. So I still considered like Sonic Generations. That was it. We hit the good stride. But then Sonic Lost World kind of came in and was like, oh, this is a bit weird. Why would you dump the boost formula? It worked so well last time. So yeah, and then Sonic Boom happened. Oh, Sonic Boom happened. I had no idea what to think of Sonic Boom when it first happened, because I loved the look of the cartoon show, sure, but it took a while to get used to Knuckles, but I like the designs. That was the main contest point. I like Sonic Boom's designs, for the record. I think they are fine. Like, Blue Arms is weird and kind of bootleggy, but it's not breaking anything. It's like, Sonic Boom's general concept is fine. Aside from the rest of the series, it's fine. But the games... Ooh, the games. I haven't actually played Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric and Shattered Crystal, so... Well, I played the demo for Shattered Crystal, but... Rise of Lyric, I can't speak on, because I've not played it, but I don't think I really need to, looking at the response to that, because... God damn. Sonic Boom was possibly the worst period for this franchise I have seen. Because Sonic 06 was bad. Sonic Boom was something else entirely. And this was where the drought started. The Sonic drought. Technically, some would say it began with Lost World, because thinking about it, the last really good Sonic game we had, in my opinion, was Sonic Generations in 2011. And that was 5 years ago. That was a really, really long time ago, all things considered. Like, when Sonic... I lost track of time now, because I was looking back on my old community stuff. Sonic Rex, which was we're now known as Last Minute Continue. I joined that site in 2013, when Sonic Lost World came out, and that's blown my mind. But, yeah, so... Sonic Lost World, I didn't mind, but then Sonic Boom just marked the start of this big Sonic drought. So, it's technically been 5 years since our last good Sonic game, and now people are very antsy to know what the hell Sega's been up to, which we're going to find out on July 22nd. But it's like, this is where I began to hop off the series a bit, because I was always adamant, no, I'll stick through with Sonic. I stuck through with Sonic 06, I'll stick through with Sonic Boom, but that's not what happened. Sonic Runners was released for iOS, but that was terrible. That was utterly terrible. So, it was like, I did begin to drop off Sonic, and then Hatsune Miku entered my life, and now I've become a Hatsune Miku fan, and that was my main focus for the past few years. But of course, Krypton Future Media are more incompetent than Sega could ever be, so I've kind of found myself gravitating back towards Sonic in the run-up to July 22nd anyway. But, yeah. Sonic's been in a very rough place the past 3 years, and that's a shame because Generations was very much a hitting its stride point. But now we just have to look to the future. I don't want to dwell on how bad Sonic Boom was, because at the end of the day they farmed it out to a third party. There were incredibly shitty restrictions put on Big Red Button, and kind of pulling the floor from under them with them porting it to Wii U and the exclusivity deal, yada yada. So, I don't know, I have more confidence in whatever the hell Sonic Team's been up to. That's probably going to be good. And I know Lost World shouldn't give me much hope, but I mean, goddamn, they've had years to fix this. They've had so many goddamn years by now. I mean, at least for a Sonic game, they've had years for this. I think people just got too used to them putting out a game every year, and that's why people have got answer. I think it's better that we've had to wait a while. I don't think I've been impatient. I did that Tracker Talks, the last one on waiting for the game, and I was just like, yeah, be patient. I know that Sonic Boom has sucked, and Sonic Runners has sucked, and other Sonic Boom has sucked, but it's like, at least the Sonic Boom cartoon was good. And I mean, I look at other franchises, and those often have to wait years for sequels, and Sonic is like the exception, because we usually got one every year, and I don't think that moving to the kind of cycle that other game series have is a problem. Main 3D Mario games generally take a while to come out, and I think Sonic adopting that route is good because it means they're probably going to be better. And at this point I'm basically just waffling, but point is, July 22nd, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be good. Like, I don't know, they could turn around and... I think at this point, Sega could turn around and show footage of Sonic riding a giant chicken, and at least some people would be hyped for it, because it's just been so long since the last good Sonic. And we just want something that isn't Boom Sonic or an iOS game. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on my experience with Sonic the Hedgehog. Basically, in short, Sonic Adventure started me off, and then I got into the classic games with Mega Collection, then all the other stuff, and then they all just kind of happened very fast, and fast. And yeah, I think the drought has it's happened, but the community hasn't really fallen apart because of it. There's always divisions in any community, and the Sonic fandom excels at that, because, I get to mention the Sonic Adventure free fan page again. But really, I think the Sonic fan base has held through relatively well, all things considered. I was talking about on Twitter the Vocaloid fanbase the other day, and what a fucking mess that is. And like I love Hatsune Miku, she's great and all, but god damn if that fanbase isn't terrible. It's made me appreciate Sonic more, so well done Krypton, you fucking idiot. But all in all, just I'm looking forward to July. Bring it on. Bring it on, Sega. I'm Tracker TD. Thank you for listening.